Hey, my name is Alexei Plagov, and this is the chapter 24 and 25 takeaways. So, in these chapters, they're talking about the persuasive speeches. So, chapter 24 mainly talks about what is a persuasive speech and what makes a speech persuasive and how you appeal to certain audiences. So, in the first section, it talks about appeals to human psychology and different types of speeches that you can do. And one of the main things to talk about is something we learned already in like our ELA courses in high school, which is pathos, logos, and ethos. So logos being logical reasoning to appeal to an audience, pathos being the emotional appeal, and ethos being the credibility to your argument. So most of this stuff already learned in high school. But the more interesting part was chapter 25, where it talked about how to create an argument for your persuasive speech. So you can't just really create anything, talk about anything in your persuasive speech, or else you'll encounter something that they define as a fallacy. So fallacies here are, as I understood, incorrect statements that you can make or errors that you can make in your persuasive speech that others can catch on to and deem it as false. So your argument is now not credible. So your argument contains three parts: your claim, your evidence, and your warrant. So your claim is, again, something you're claiming. So one example they give here is that sugar should be treated like a narcotic or an alcoholic beverage to control substance abuse. Your evidence is some piece of evidence that you get from a credible, reliable source, such as saying that U.S. diet is very sugary, which is like a leader of diabetes or other health problems, whatever. Your warrant should be your justification. So I did not know that it was called a warrant, so this is something new for me. I always thought it was just claim, evidence, justification, but now I know that it's called a warrant. So a warrant is more of a justification. So here again, we talk about sugar, we have the evidence. The warrant describes how the health effects of excess sugar consumption largely mirror the effects of drinking too much alcohol, which is why you should incorporate the claim. So the warrant really just ties together your evidence and your claim to better tell the audience why you should, again, believe your claim, or why you're trying to persuade, why it's valid. So that was something interesting I learned. Another thing I learned were the definitions of claims, because I didn't know that was a thing. So we have claim of fact, claim of value, claim of policy. So a claim of fact is something that's either true or false, or something that will or will not happen. So, for example, global warming, what they use in the book is global warming is causing hotter and drier weather patterns. So this is sort of like a speculative claim. So do you really know if that's going to happen for real? Nobody knows, but that's something you can speculate. So this is a form of a claim of fact. So a claim of value addresses more of issues instead of judgment. So instead of judging something, it addresses more of like sort of an issue. So for example, what they use in the book is assisted suicide ethical. So it's asking you about not really like a statement trying to persuade you something, but it's trying to more of communicate an idea to try to speak to the audience, sort of like a question. So it's trying to see if something's good or bad or unworthy or, unethical in this case. So that's going to be your claim of value. Your claim of policy is something that, let's say, Congress would use to, again, take an action on a law. So these are some interesting things I learned. I did not know about, I knew there was something called, I knew what fallacies were. I just didn't know they were called fallacies. So that was something interesting else I learned, because, again, I could describe, you can have a really, really, really good argument, but if your argument, again, is flawed in a certain way, then some people of the audience can say, wait, this is not true, and they can disregard your whole argument, making it, I don't know, uncredible or unbelievable to the audience. So in the end, it says that there's like a few different types of logical fallacies, such as either or fallacy, which is like an argument that's stated in terms of only two natives. So I see this used a lot in like government debate. So it's asking you, let's say, for example, does your mom know you stole? So it's already assuming that you stole, but it's either asking you, does your mom know, or does your mom not know? So this is one example of a fallacy, and I'm gonna go a bit over time, but there's a way more examples of these fallacies, but I just found that to be interesting. All right, thank you so much.